Hey funnel builders, in this video I'm going to talk about how I film and edit videos using my smartphone. I'm also going to talk about the equipment that you need in order of priority, and perhaps most importantly, how to shoot your first video, as well as how to shoot multiple videos using just your smartphone, which is probably a piece of equipment that you already own. Hey funnel builders, Mike Killen here from Sell Your Service. If you're a funnel builder, you should subscribe because I produce new videos every single week to help funnel builders like you attract more clients, increase your income, and sell more funnels. This is one of my most requested videos, and it's really interesting because I've only made a few videos. My channel hasn't been around very long. I haven't got very many subscribers, and yet a lot of people ask me, Mike, how do you make videos repeatedly? And one of the answers is that I've really utilized the power of my smartphone. So I want to talk about how you can use something that you already own to create regular video content and the equipment and the stuff that you need. It's a bit of a breakdown, bit of a tech review. I've spent a lot of money on a lot of different tech, and I found what I think works for me and my business and being able to shoot videos regularly. A lot of the time we think that we don't want to shoot videos because we're worried about the quality of the film that comes out. And what's really important is to know that GIFs and short videos on Instagram and Instagram stories have kind of blown that away because the quality of the video content isn't as important as the story. And we'll come on to that in a little bit. But your smartphone probably can shoot at 1080p, which is basically, it means is 1080 lines worth of detail going up and down, which is what we consider HD or high definition. That's what YouTube publishes in. That's what this video is published in. That's very, very clear. So your phone probably is as high quality camera recording equipment as you need. And if you can't afford expensive camera equipment, like I, for example, have got my Nikon D5600, which even then is not like the world's most expensive camera, not by a long shot, and I've got a Tamron lens, and I've also got my Logitech Brio, which is like a $400 webcam. But if you already own a smartphone, you already own everything you need to create regular videos. The difference is that you should be filming regular videos anyway, using the best camera that you've got at your disposal. The biggest misconception if you want to film regular video content is you do not need an expensive DSLR camera with a telephoto lens. It's a huge misconception. A lot of the vloggers like Casey Neistat, those guys have that kind of equipment, but they've got the money to spend on it. Your smartphone is capable of 99% of what you need it to do. And even if you don't have a smartphone, chances are you've got like a point and click digital camera. I guarantee that shooting videos on that regularly is far more advanced than the majority of the cameras that people used when YouTube first started, and they still managed to grow their audience. You also don't need expensive equipment. I'm going to go through some of the gear that I use to make shooting videos a little bit easier, but to be honest, a lot of the time I literally just have my smartphone and I hold it out in front of me. I don't even have like a selfie stick or anything like that. I'll talk about the tripod, the microphone, the other tripod I use, and some of the lighting equipment. But to be honest, you don't need expensive equipment or any additional equipment just to film videos using your smartphone. The overall kind of point of this video is that content beats equipment every single time. There are Hollywood films now that use the iPhone 7, is it? Or the iPhone X to film videos because the quality on them is so good now. It's not applicable to every film, obviously, but the reality is that phone camera technology has come on so much that chances are whatever you use now is already good enough to film potentially even 4K videos. Like this will be recorded in 4K, this records in 4K, but I tend to upload in 1080p. This is my old smartphone. This is my Samsung Galaxy S7. I also have my S5 lying around here somewhere and my S3. I've got a bunch more camera equipment up here, and more than anything, I'm finding I'm using my smartphone again and again and again. But the difference is that content beats equipment every single time. If you've got a good story, if you've got a good hook, if you're willing to talk to the camera, be animated and show your energy and produce useful or helpful or entertaining content, the camera equipment comes second to the story or the script. So I'm kind of listing these in order of priority. If you want to shoot just using your smartphone, I'll probably do another video on like my setup for the webcam and the Yeti mic that I use here, and maybe one for the DSLR that I use. This here is the Samsung Galaxy S8. So this is already like 2 generations old, and frankly, I can't tell the difference now. The Galaxy S9, I have used it. It does have a really good camera on it. I personally use Android. I'm not really in the Apple ecosystem, but anything from the Galaxy S5 Plus and like the A2, for example, or the Xiaomi or the Huawei phones like the P20 Mate, the Google Pixel, all of these phones, and of course the Apple iPhones, all of these phones probably record in as high quality content as you could possibly imagine. The quality now, even on the front facing cameras, is so good that you don't even need to have the rear facing camera as the one that you activate. I usually record using the front facing camera because this here is at 4K. This camera lens here, this tiny little camera lens, that's 4K. So I'm able to record like this, talking into my camera, as I knock everything around, really easily. And I use this microphone on top, and I'll talk about that in a second. But a lot of the time, I'll just hold the phone like this without the tripod, just so I can get a really nice panoramic shot. I can shoot around and I can say, hey guys, Mike here from Sell Your Service. Today I'm going to be talking about whatever useful, awesome content I'm going to be talking about. The only thing about smartphones is their microphone quality. The built-in microphones are pretty lousy. The rule of thumb is that the audio is the most important thing to have. You're better off having really clear audio and slightly lower resolution or lower quality film, compared to a lot of people think you've got to have really crisp, clear, beautiful imagery and that the sound is kind of second place. We found that, particularly on our videos, and I believe it's a rule of thumb, that if you have a better quality audio, you can get away with lower quality video. This microphone here is the Rode Video Micro. This basically plugs in to my smartphone, and I have to use a special adapter, which is basically what they call TRS and TRRS. And you can't really see it, but I'll see if I can bring up a picture on the screen. Can you see there's 3 black bands on the grey one, and there's 2 black bands on the black one? The 2 black bands go into the microphone, and the 3 black bands go into the cell phone. If I'm using my camera, however, that needs to use the 2 black bands, so a TRS model, and then again the 2 black bands, so a TRS model going into the microphone as well. The microphone for this particular one I found is really good quality considering how small it is and how inexpensive it is. It's not very expensive. I'll put a link to it in below. And I also have what we call a wind sock or a cat on top, which is kind of like this huge furry like blob on top. That eliminates wind noise, so when I'm outside and about and it's windy, I still have relatively clear audio. That to me would be the only thing that you really should invest in if you're going to buy anything, and I suggest you don't, because you can just use your headphones and the microphone and plug that in and talk into that. I know a lot of guys who use that. It sounds fantastic and there's no need to go anything like wider than that, and also you can change the distance at which you hold the video and it won't affect the audio, whereas if I get further away, obviously I get quieter using this microphone. The next most important thing is nothing to do with the phone, it's just good lighting. I've got 2 lights up here that have a total of 3 bulbs and like diffusers to kind of soften it a little bit. I've found that good lighting increases the quality of my videos like tenfold, and for really, really cheap. You don't have to have lighting. For a lot of the time I face my window, and if it's daylight outside, I'll just have the window with the daylight streaming in. I've got this huge window in front of me, and that's usually enough to light my face. But I'm recording now, it's about 9 o'clock at night, so I'll have the 2 lights on to give me as much light as possible, and I've got a big white background, so hopefully I stand out above everything else. Lighting is one of the biggest things, and just paying attention to lighting. But the problem is, it's another one of those things where you're never going to get it perfect. Your first few videos are probably going to look really bad. After you've published them, and you'll go back and you'll go, oh my god, the lighting's so terrible. But it's only through filming repeatedly using your phone or a camera and creating video content that you end up understanding why lighting is good or bad or important. Next up is tripods. This is a Joby tripod, so the GorillaPod guys. I've got a little ball tracker on top as well that allows me to rotate the head tracker so I can move my phone at slightly different angles. I have the Movo grip, which I'll also like link to and put some stuff on, which allows me to slide my phone into and hold it at different angles, so I can move it out like this, like that, and I can slide it back in, and that just gives me a bit of a stable grip. A lot of the times what I'll do is I'll just use this, and if I'm walking around town, I'll just have this and I'll talk to the smartphone and everyone will be staring at me and think I'm an idiot. But if I want to get some stability, I'll plug this in to my Joby grip and my tripod. I absolutely love the GorillaPods. I think they're absolutely fantastic. This will then just widen out and then Bam, I got myself a tripod. However, it's not as tall, obviously, so if I've got it on a desk, it's just about fine. It just comes to eye level, just goes down a little bit, which is why I also have my Manfrotto Pro. This is my Manfrotto. This is a Travel Go tripod, which again, I'll link to below. This compact's crazy small. And this is usually the one that I'll take to the office. I don't really take this traveling because it's still quite heavy considering. This was about $100. Tripods are super useful if you want to set up a point and shot. If you're using a smartphone, the autofocus technology on them is fine. It's not brilliant. So moving around and kind of doing video shots, it can work against you, whereas setting up a tripod and just talking to it, a bit like I'm doing now with my webcam, can look amazing on a smartphone. Having said that, for portability, and like I said, as long as your audio is clear, people will put up with, you know, blurry and sometimes out of focus video. As long as you're talking and compelling and you're giving away value and your sound sounds good, that's kind of the most important thing. But having a tripod can make a massive difference. But again, it's not necessary. A lot of the time, I'm just holding my phone, talking to it, and making sure that I'm engaging with the audience as much as possible. I've already talked about scripts as well, which I'll link to below, or maybe I'll put a video. I'll link the video. It's probably in the corner right about now, about the script that I use to record videos really quickly. It's similar to the script that I'm using here. It allows me to talk freely and openly and talk about the content that I want to talk about. So that's kind of, in my opinion, probably the most important piece maybe, is having a good script. If you have a good script, you don't really need to worry about anything else because people will put up with low quality video. The audio is maybe the only thing I would really focus on if you have to get anything. And lighting is a very cheap way of making your videos look good, but a script, and a decent script that kind of moves through the beats really quickly in a really profound way, that is what's going to get views. And it also makes it easier to create video content. Finally, get over filming video in public. Take your camera out and just start filming yourself in quiet streets. Go to the country lanes, go to public areas that are quiet like parks, and just talk to yourself. Then put in your headphones and talk to yourself again, and you'll find that most people think that you're just on a video call. Here's the interesting thing. I've filmed in airports, on ships, I've filmed in restaurants, I've filmed in shopping centres, in high streets, I filmed down on like our dockside, I film in our office, and now, even now, I still get a little bit like, this film's a bit uncomfortable. But the reality is most people actually don't care. They're more concerned about what they're doing, and if anything, they'll kind of come up to you and go, are you filming like a vlog? What is it that you do? Most people don't care. No one thinks you're crazy anymore. Everyone's filming everything all the time now. So you just get over that fear, because actually no one cares what it is you're doing. No one cares at all. So you have to get over your fear of filming in public. Tell me what phone you've got down in the comments below and what's stopping you from starting your video content. Or if you already have a YouTube channel, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to check it out, and I'd love to see what it is that you can film just using your smartphone like I have. I'll link to a couple of smartphone videos that I've made down below so you can see what happens. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next video, and keep building those funnels.